In a moment, we're going to start in, if you like, Supta Baddha Konasana, lying down. If you have a pillow or a bolster, you might like to grab that to lie over. And also if you have a block, you might like to grab that. Don't worry if you don't have any props or you don't want to use any, that's fine. But if you do have a bolster, a block, a pillow, feel free to grab those now. So if you feel comfortable, we'll start off in Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out wide. I'll just come back and demonstrate if you're not familiar with this pose. And you can, as I mentioned, have the bolster lengthways along the mat, or a pillow, or you could even roll up a blanket to pop lengthways under your spine, but you don't have to. I haven't got anything. And then soles of the feet together, knees out wide, and we lie ourselves down. Now, if this isn't a great pose for you, you may just prefer to be in a semi-supine position like this. So the knees pointing up towards the sky, just checking that your head, neck, and spine are in a straight line. You might like to cover yourselves with a blanket at this point. If you wear glasses, you might like to pop those to the side and even cover the eyes. So just take these first few moments to arrive, to set yourself up in either Supta Baddha Konasana or a semi-supine position. And sighing the breath away. Good evening, Kathy, who's just joined. And I'd like to begin tonight by sharing a beautiful poem with you by the mystic poet Hafiz. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy. My heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance, the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious. So just take some time to ground yourself in this present moment. And just be aware of any tendency to focus on the past or the future. Notice if your mind is racing into the future or backtracking into the past. And allow yourself to be interested in whatever is before you right now. And then we're going to direct our attention down to the belly and begin to breathe into the belly. And I invite you to imagine that sitting on your belly is a beautiful, large butterfly. So visualize this beautiful butterfly, perhaps the most beautiful butterfly you've ever seen. Notice the shape and color of her wings. And with each inhale, this divine butterfly begins to open and spread her wings. So visualize the wings opening up to a full expanse. And as you exhale, the wings fold back in. So breathing in, the belly expands. And breathing out, belly contracts. Try to allow no other part of your body to move as you continue breathing in and out of the belly. Inhaling, butterfly wings expand fully, revealing her extraordinary beauty. Exhale, wings fold back in. So just work with a few more breaths in this way. And to conclude, let's imagine that there are predators hanging around this beautiful butterfly. She's so incredibly beautiful, magical, that others want to possess her, consume her. So to protect her from harm, we're going to work with a powerful breathing practice, hissing breath. We're going to work with 5 rounds of this. So just exhale all breath and then breathing in. So making a hissing sound as you exhale through the mouth. And we'll do 4 more. You can go at your own pace. So inhale. Let's keep going. And last one. And then I invite you to ask yourself the questions. What fills me with joy? What fills me with joy? What makes my heart sing and my eyes twinkle? What makes my heart sing and my eyes twinkle? Do I make time to have fun? Do I make time to have fun? Do I make time to play in my life? Do I make time to play? In the book, The Dark Nights of the Soul, Thomas More writes, many people live in emotional darkness because they have never fully enjoyed a child's spirit in their overly serious lives. Indeed, modern society, so adult and sophisticated, so busy at work and serious about knowing everything, has lost much of its childhood. Somehow you have to resurrect the child spirit in a way that is fully compatible with a mature adult life. It should enhance maturity, not get in the way of it. This beneficial child spirit is extremely subtle, far from literal childishness and anti-intellectual emotionalism. It gives a color and tone to the whole of life, but it doesn't dominate it. It is the difference between an old person trying too hard to look young and one who ages gracefully with a youthful spirit. And this same author, in another wonderful book, one of my favorites, The Re-Enchantment of Everyday Life, says, could it be that in becoming adults, we are educated away from the soul that is so vividly present in childhood? The child has no trouble seeing magic, where adults find only mechanics and practicality. We have little or no trust that a child's play is important work. In an enchanted world, it would make sense to let children do some of the teaching and to give lessons in what they know best: play, animism, and charm, the very things our culture lacks. So as we begin to move in a moment, just allow these ideas to wash through you and see if you can connect with a sense of curiosity and wonder about your practice, with the beautiful butterfly fluttering her wings above you. A very important element of play is the absence of any goals outside of the activity itself. Truly being in the present moment with a touch of lightness. So if your legs are still wide in Supta Baddha Konasana, I invite you to bring the knees in towards each other now. And if you can, just start to rock from side to side. We're going to move any bolsters or pillows out from underneath us and stay laying on our backs, but you might need to move any blankets at this point. I'm going to come back to meet you now. And when it feels okay to do so, you can stretch the legs out along the mat. Just have your arms down alongside you. And if you can, have a bit of space around you. Because with this first movement, we're going to actually imagine that we are giant butterflies. So the body's in a straight line, the arms are down by our side, tuck the chin forward. When you're ready, there's no rush. We're going to inhale, take the arms out to the side. So they're sliding along the floor if possible, if you've got enough room. I haven't quite, but I'll do my best. Taking the arms all the way up. So it's like the butterfly opening its wings. And as you exhale, lowering the arms back down by your side. So work at your own pace, synchronizing the movement with your breath. So breathing in, opening wings wide, arms above the head, and breathing out, lowering the arms. I wonder what color you are, your beautiful wings. Keep the face soft and exhale, lowering the arms. Let's do 2 more. Quite a lot of butterflies and dragonflies flying around our skies at the moment. So if you have time this week, it might be nice to, when you're out in nature, just to look out for these beautiful creatures. Good. So when you finish that last exhalation, your arms are down by your side. Let's bring the right knee in towards the chest. We're going to imagine that we've got a beautiful ball and we're going to be playing with this ball. So we're going to take the palms of the hands on either side of the knee. So the hands are shoulder width apart. Left foot is flexed, so we're not forgetting about the left leg. And then we're just going to start to toss the ball from one palm to the other. Perhaps you can remember having a favorite ball in your childhood. Might be a sport that you played, could be a netball or a soccer ball, tennis ball. How many different balls are there? The beach ball. And just starting to increase the space between your two palms. Until your hands are almost touching the floor on either side of you. Good. And then the next time the knee moves over to the left, let's hold the twist. So left hand goes to the outer edge of the right knee. Right arm is at shoulder height. And you can either keep looking straight up or turn your head gently to look along that arm towards your right fingers. Perhaps a little smile on your lips. Good. And then slowly bring that knee back to center. Give it a bit of a hug. And then stretch the right leg away. And let's bring the left knee in. So hands on either side of our ball, right foot flexed. And then we're going to start to toss the ball from one palm to the other. So just a little movement to begin as we warm up that hip. And then you can start to increase the space between your palms. And a little further. Until your hands are almost touching the floor on either side of you. And then the next time the knee moves over to the right, let's hold the twist. So right hand on the outer edge of the left knee, left arm at shoulder height. And again, either looking straight up or turning to look along that left arm towards your left fingers. And breathe. Good. Let's gently come back to center. Give that left knee a hug and a squeeze. And then stretch the left leg out along the mat. Just take a resting breath there. And then we're going to do a little bit of cycling. So imagine we're on a bike. Again, if you loved riding bikes when you were younger, you might still, but if you had a favorite childhood bike, you might just bring that to mind, that memory. And we're just going to start with one leg at a time. So again, keep that left foot flexed. And as we inhale, we're going to draw the right knee in nice and slowly. Take the leg up. So we're pushing on the pedal and exhale, lower it down. So breathe in, the knee comes in. We take the leg up and exhale down. So we're pushing out through the ball of the foot. Inhale, bring it in, take it up and exhale. Keep going. You can keep this really slow, or you might like to speed it up a little bit. See what feels good for you tonight. Good. And then we're going to reverse directions. So inhale the leg straight up, bend the leg in, and exhale, push out through the ball of the foot. So leg goes straight up, bend it in, push out through the ball of the foot. And one more. And then release the heel down, and we'll go straight to the other side. So inhale, left knee comes in, take the leg up, and exhale, pushing out through the ball of the foot. Draw the knee in, up, exhale. Good. Keep going. Noticing how this side feels compared to the right side, without attaching a judgment, just being curious and noticing what you notice tonight, being interested in what new things you can discover about yourself on the mat. Okay, let's reverse directions. So taking the legs straight up, bend it in, push out through the ball of the foot. And one more. Good. Release it down. Take a resting breath. And then step both feet up close to the buttocks. So a little bit more hip buttock work. We're going to place the right ankle on the left thigh. Now, if you know this is strong enough for you, right hand is on the inner edge of the right knee here, and we hold like this. Otherwise, we're going to interlace the fingers under the left knee, drawing that left knee in towards the chest. Keeping the chin tucking forward. And it's good to keep that right foot flexed to protect the right knee. It's relaxing the skin of the face. Good. And then let's slowly release it down, and we'll swap sides. So left ankle on the right thigh, either staying here or interlacing the fingers under the right knee. Keeping that left foot flexed. Make sure you're not clenching the teeth, softening the forehead, and allowing the breath to flow. Good. And gently release it down. Just have the feet stepped up close to the buttocks. We're going to do a little bit of abdominal strengthening work. So first one, we're going to rest both palms on our thighs. Breathe in. So feel your spine long and straight. And as you breathe out, lifting the head and sliding your fingers up towards your knees. On the next inhale, we lower ourselves down. If this is no good for your neck, just have a little bit of a rest or do something a bit gentler. Exhale, lifting up, fingertips towards your knees. So breathing in, we lower. And breathing out, we lift. Let's try two more if we can. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, we lift. And last one. Good. And lower down. If you need to, you can perhaps tap the belly with your fingertips and give it a little bit of a massage. And we'll work with another variation for strengthening the abdomen. So we're going to have the legs in a right angle. Imagine we're pressing our feet against a wall and palms are back onto the thighs. Now this time we're imagining we're pushing or trying to push the thighs away, and at the same time, the thighs are pushing back into our palms. Keep the back of the neck long, and we'll hold this, pressing the lower back down as much as we can. Make sure you're not holding the breath. We're going to do this a couple of times. So when you need a little rest, you just draw the knees in, give yourselves a hug. Perhaps if you need to, rock from side to side. So have a little break when you need to. And then we'll try that for a second time. So creating a right angle with your legs, pressing against an imaginary wall, and pushing the palms into your thighs and the thighs back into your palms. When you've had enough, draw the knees in, perhaps a little rock. And then we're going to stretch the legs out along the mat. Okay. Now from here, we're going to tense the body as tightly as we can. And if you'd like to, imagining that you are a toddler having a tantrum. So we're going to try to remember being, or we might still feel like doing this occasionally at our older ages, feeling our frustration or our anger and really bringing that to mind, bringing that into the body as we inhale and tense the body, and then we're going to let it all go as we exhale. Just, I guess, toddlers aren't self-conscious really about doing it, whereas we as older people are. They just do it naturally without worrying about what anyone else thinks. So let's do this 3 times. So you can go at your own pace. When you're ready, inhale. So scrunch up your toes, screw up your face, fists with the hands. Might be saying to yourself, it's not fair. Just hold that thought and then let it all go. You might even want to bring to mind something that's been really making you not feel good lately. You're really frustrated about or angry. And let's do that again. Breathe in. And let it all go. So it's like you're boiling mad. And once again. When you finish, take the legs into the air, and we're going to imagine that we're a dying fly. So shake those legs, let the ankles be floppy, shake the hands, the arms, the wrists. If you want to, you can even make the sound of a fly buzzing away. See if you can shake it a little more. Again, getting some of that frustration out, just getting energy moving, not letting it be stagnant. Shake a little bit more. Blow the breath out through the mouth. And release. And we're going to carefully come over to one side and make our way around into extended child. So your big toes are touching. Your arms are extending forward. If you prefer, you can make fists with the hands and rest your forehead on your fists, or even have your arms back alongside you, and just take a moment to connect with the innocence of this pose. This is child pose. And you might even like to imagine that your beautiful butterfly is now resting on your back. And again, that idea as you inhale of the butterfly's wings opening up wide. And as you exhale, closing back in. So as you're working with these ideas, I'd like to share another little passage with you from a great book called Midlife Spirituality and Jungian Archetypes. It takes great humility to temporarily let go of the serious adult in us, who is so preoccupied with the world and important enterprises in order to really play. Each of us has to find the way back to wonder. The alternative seems to be that we become jaded. By this time, we have been around. We have seen it all, done it all, heard it all. We have been touched by the evil all around us and in our own heart. We have made it, or we're not going to make it now. We have been sinned against and been betrayed by loved ones and love. We have been hurt many times, and our defensive crusts have grown thick. We are at great risk of becoming cynical. Cynicism and bitterness are real possibilities as we reach the end of naivety. At such moments, the archetype of the child can lead us. The child will be new life, wonder, awe, risk, hope, and spring. It will lead us to move out and beyond into the new again and again, in spite of all the threats and losses in life. So we're going to come up now into elephant pose. So our hands will be mat distance apart, fingers spread wide. Our toes will be mat width apart as well. And when you're ready, you're going to lift your knees, lift your hips. You can keep the legs bent for a while, or you can pedal the legs, just bending one leg and the other. So just do what feels good here. Letting your head hang down. Your head is the trunk of the elephant. Let it be loose and free. You might like to blow the breath out through the mouth. So we're going to stay for another 5 or 6 breaths, but please feel free to come down early if you're a bit low in energy tonight, or you're a bit headachy or a bit congested. Good. So when you've had enough, we'll slowly lower the knees down and take a rest in any version of child for a breath or two. And then we're going to slowly come up to work with lion pose. So again, another wonderful pose to help us let go of feeling frustrated, feeling angry, feeling mad. So again, we can think of the toddler tantrum once again, how good they are at letting it all go, letting it rip. We'll work with this 3 times. So if you can't sit like this, just change the leg position so that you are comfortable. And if possible, we're going to bring the palms down onto the mat. So the fingers are pointing towards the body. Again, you might like to think of something that is very current for you at the moment that's been making you feel a bit annoyed, angry, frustrated. And when we, in a moment, exhale, we'll extend the tongue. We look up to our third eye and we make a loud sound, ah sound. Okay, so 3 of these. So let's inhale. Ah. Again. And last one. Good. Let's come down into child pose once again. Either staying in child, or some of you might like to interlace your fingers and lift up onto the crown of the head. We'll just stay here for 3 or 4 breaths. Just noticing what's going on inside, how you're feeling. Good. And then if you're on the crown of the head, just lower the hands to the back, sit back down, rest there for a breath or 2. And then slowly lifting up, and we're going to come up now to stand. Okay. Perhaps I've been a bit frustrated lately because we've got a few of these anger releasing poses tonight. Another one coming up. So we're going to take the hands onto the hips and we're going to start to stamp a foot. And again, you can really imagine the earth beneath you absorbing your frustration, irritation, anger. Again, you might like to think of the toddler saying, "It's not fair." It's also a very grounding practice. Good, and then let's do the other one. Whew. And come to the backs of your mats. Have a bit of a shake. So this next one, we'll take the hands back onto the hips. We're going to see if we can be on our heels and walk along the mat. So you might like to imagine you're a penguin walking along, lengthening up through the crown top, standing tall, shoulders back, turning around. So we're staying on our heels and walking back. Good. And then this time we're going to be on the balls of the feet. You can release the hands if you prefer, or keep them on the hips. So right up on the balls of the feet. Imagine you're trying to stretch your head up to touch the clouds. Good. And coming back, feet hip width apart, we'll do a little bit of bouncing. Again, might like to blow the breath out through the mouth, shake the arms, shake your fingers. Anything unwanted draining down the body to be absorbed by the earth beneath you. And just start to slow that down. Come back into a place of stillness, into our beautiful mountain pose, shoulders back, heart open, perhaps turning the sides of the mouth up slightly. And again, let's imagine that we are that beautiful, beautiful butterfly. And we're going to spread our wings now as we inhale and raise the arms all the way up, fingertips touch. And as we exhale, we float the arms down. Breathing in, again being aware of the shape, the color, the magnificence of your wings. And slowly lowering the arms. Just do 3 more in your own time. When you finish, just take a resting breath. And we're going to work with a standing cat. So feet can stay out, just a little bend in the legs, hands are onto our thighs. As we exhale, we're going to round the back and look down. And as we breathe in, the chest moves forward, shoulders back, and we tilt the face to look up. So exhale, we round. Inhale, chest forward, tilting the face. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do a few more. Good. When you're finished, we'll come into a lazy uttanasana. So you can either just hold onto your opposite elbow with the legs bent and the hands on your thighs, or some of you might like to come a little further forward, perhaps even just holding on to the opposite elbow. Some of you might like to straighten the legs, otherwise just keep them bent. Good. And then slowly coming up. Lift the shoulders up and roll them down the back. Okay, now a little bit of fun. We're going to just start to jump up and down. And if you'd like to, you can add the words ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. And we're going to turn ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. And reverse. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he. Okay, might be a little bit dizzy after that one. Next one, a little bit of fun. We'll see how we go with it. We're going to see if we can cross the legs and sit down, keeping our hands up, and then stand up. And then do it again. Of course, if you need to, you can take the fingers down to help you lift up. And if you really want to challenge yourself, each time you go up and down, you cross the legs the other way. This way's a bit trickier for me. Keep changing the cross. And if you can, hands stay up in the air. So this is actually from Kundalini Yoga. And traditionally they do this 52 times. We are not doing that many tonight. Let's just see if we can do a couple more. And release, give the legs a bit of a shake. Let's come back into our lazy Uttanasana. So legs hip width, either legs bent and your hands are on the thighs, or coming down a little bit further. And perhaps blowing the breath out through the mouth. Probably notice the heart is beating a little faster. Good. And let's slowly come up. This time raising the arms all the way up overhead. Remembering our beautiful butterfly. And float the arms back down. Good. All right, a little bit of work for our shoulders. So we're going to take the arms above the head. Make sure you're not going to bump into anything. We're going to swing one arm forward or turn sideways and the other arm back. And you can bob up and down with this one. So one arm forward, the other arm back. And you can keep it really slow, or if you've got the hang of it, you might speed it up. Good, and then take the arms up and pause. And now we reverse. So the opposite arm goes forward. Good, and release the arms down. Let's take the legs a little wider apart now to work with the Tibetan yoga breath. We're going to incorporate some words with our arm movement. So let's turn to look towards our left fingers to begin. And as we breathe in, we're going to watch as we raise the arm up, stretching the right fingers down. And as we exhale, lowering the left arm. Turning to the right, breathing in. And breathing out. So work at your own pace with this one. And if you like, as you breathe in, say to yourself the word peace. And on the exhalation, joy. So we're breathing in peace. And breathing out joy. Let's do 2 more to each side. And last one, breathing in peace and breathing out joy. Coming back to center and just take a breath there. Good. Release your legs. Okay, now we're going to work with triangle, Trikonasana, and then warrior two, and an option to work then with Ardha Chandrasana, our crescent moon balance, which is quite a challenge, but some of you might like to have a go. And that's why I mentioned at the start, you might like to have a block with you, but don't worry if you don't have one. So I'm just going to grab my block. If you do have a block and you're going to attempt Ardha Chandrasana, just pop that to the left side. So you can have it down low or you can have it up high. And then we're going to take the legs wide, turn the left toes around. So first of all, into our triangle. So breathing in, raise the arms, turning to the left. And as we breathe out, we're leaning over, taking the left arm down. Right hand might be on your hip, or if the shoulder's okay, extending the arm up. And you might be looking to your left big toe or forward, or if it's okay for the neck, looking up towards your right thumb. Good. Now bring the head to center. Inhale, come up, turn to the left, and exhale into our warrior two. So again, there's always an option to rest that back hand on your hip. Otherwise, the arms are in a straight line. We're gazing along the left middle finger. Softening the shoulders, relaxing the face, the mouth. Okay, now you've got a choice now. You can release at this point or even come back into triangle, or we're going to endeavor to move into Ardha Chandrasana. So we'll bring the back hand to the hip, step the back foot in a little bit, bring the fingers down onto the mat or onto the block. And then we're seeing if we can lift this right leg off the floor. So you might just stay here, just working with your balance. Otherwise, that right leg is parallel to the floor. We're pushing out through the heel, the foot is flexed, and we're starting to turn, lifting and drawing that right shoulder back. Now, if we feel steady enough, we might extend that right arm up. And if we're feeling super stable tonight, we might try looking up. And breathe and smile, not too serious. Good. Now carefully look down and step that back foot back and come up and release the arms. If you've got a block, let's take that now over to the right side. Okay, so same sequence, turning the right toes around, moving into our triangle first. So breathe in, turning to the right, and breathing out. So back hand might be on your hip or extending the arm up, working out what's best for your neck in terms of the head position. Good. Now bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turning to the right. And as we exhale, we're bending the right leg. So Virabhadrasana 2, option to rest the backhand on your hip, or again, the arms are in a straight line. We're gazing along the right middle finger. And then you can either release at this point or go back into triangle for a second go, or let's endeavor to move into Ardha Chandrasana. So we'll bring the back hand to the hip, step that back leg in a little bit, bringing the right fingers down to the mat or to your block, and then lifting this left foot up. So again, you might just stay here. This is a balance. This is good. Some of you might be able to lift the leg up a little bit higher and flex the foot and start to turn to the left, rolling that left shoulder back, turning. And only if you feel steady do you then try extending the left arm up and perhaps look up. And smile. Good. And then carefully looking down, bring the top hand down, step that back foot back. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Step the feet in. So we're standing into Tadasana, feet are hip width. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale all breath. Let's breathe in, raise the arms up, perhaps looking up. And exhale into our bird. Inhale, reverse, taking the arms all the way up. And arms come down by your side. Breathe in. Enjoy this movement. Good. Now the next time we come forward, we're going to stay in the forward fold. So let your arms come down to your legs or to the mat. And we're going to move from here into down face dog pose. So the block out of the way if it's in the way. Now, if you've had enough at this point, you can come down into child pose. Otherwise, we'll hold dog and then we'll move into plank and then child. Good. So from dog, when you feel ready, you might like to come forward into plank. So the shoulders are over the wrist, the body's in a straight line. Open the back of the knees. And then before we drop the knees down to the mat, you might like to just bend the legs and just hover there for a few breaths. See if you can hold that. Might just be for a microsecond. But see, otherwise, if you can stay for 2 or 3 breaths. And then when you've had enough, come down into child and rest. Now, from here, I invite you to just think about a yoga pose that makes you feel really happy and joyful and alive. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to work with that pose. So it might be standing, it might be lying down, might just be staying in child pose, might be in Shavasana. So just think about one pose. Don't think about it too much, just pretty much the first thing that comes to you, and work with that. So you might stay there for about 6 or so breaths. And while you're in the pose, I'd like you to ponder the question, what is it about this pose? How come I'm feeling so happy when I work with this pose? What's going on here? I was talking to someone a little while ago about how much I love working with back bends and how they make me feel so alive. And they said to me, well, why don't you do them every day? I do them pretty regularly, but not, I was thinking of sort of some stronger back bends, which I definitely don't do every day. And I really pondered that. I thought, yeah, why don't I do them more often if I know I feel so amazing when I work with them? And while you're in the pose now, just think about that. What is it that how come I'm feeling so good when I work with this? Perhaps about another 3 or 4 breaths. And you may need to do a counter pose. So if you're in quite a strong back bend, for example, you'll want to do just a little bit of a forward bend, a gentle forward bend of some description for at least 2 or 3 breaths afterwards. If you've been in a forward bend, you could do a little bit of a back bend. It's always trying to find balance through the body for the spine. And then when you've finished all of that, we'll all meet on our backs with the feet stepped up close to the buttocks to work with a few rounds of bridge. So I apologize if you've just worked with bridge. You may want to do something different now instead. But otherwise, let's check that the head, neck and spine are in a straight line. Tuck the chin forward. Palms are down alongside the hips. And when you're ready, as you inhale, you can start to lift the back away from the floor, lifting your hips. And on the exhalation, rolling back down. So breathing in, we lift. And lower as we're exhaling. You might like to come back to those words as you inhale, breathing in peace. And breathing out joy. Inhale, peace. And exhale, joy. Now we'll do a few more if you prefer. The next time you lift up, you might hold bridge. And if you're holding bridge, you might like to lift your forearms off the mat. So you're pressing into the elbows, but your fingers are pointing up towards the sky, palms facing each other. Otherwise, just keep lifting and lowering with the breath. Breathing in peace. And breathing out joy. One more breath here. And if you've been holding, lower your palms, lower your spine, bring the knees in, cross your legs at the ankles, a hand on each knee, and let's make some little circles on the floor with your lower back. If you'd like to work with happy baby, please feel free to do that now. Otherwise, we just keep circling around and around. And cross the legs the other way. Let's circle in the opposite direction. Good. And then when you've had enough, we're going to come back to center, give ourselves one last hug, and we're going to set ourselves up for Shavasana, relaxation. So grab any support you might need. And I'm going to come up closer to you once again. Sighing the breath away if that feels good. So settling down into a comfortable, reclined position. Letting the body drop down a little more, a little more. Letting go. And you might like to imagine now that your beautiful butterfly is giving you butterfly kisses on your cheeks. Her wings gently fluttering, kissing your cheeks so tenderly, softly, lovingly. Reminding you to move lightly through the world, not allowing the heaviness of the world to weigh you down. And reminding you of your power to transform darkness into light. Reminding you of the potential for alchemy to occur in your life. Just enjoy this time now of rest. Before we come out of Shavasana, I'd like to share with you a final passage. I think many of you will have heard this. It's one of my favorites. I have it by my computer and I read it very regularly. It's by Aldous Huxley. It's dark because you are trying too hard. Lightly, child, lightly. Learn to do everything lightly. Yes, feel lightly, even though you're feeling deeply. Just lightly let things happen and lightly cope with them. I was so preposterously serious in those days. Lightly, lightly. It's the best advice ever given me. There are quicksands all about you, sucking at your feet, trying to suck you down into fear and self-pity and despair. That's why you must walk so lightly, lightly, my darling. So feel free to remain resting if you're happy there. Otherwise, start now to deepen the breath as you become aware once more of your surroundings, perhaps listening to sounds. And bringing some movement into your fingers and your toes. Have a bit of a stretch if you'd like to. And then carefully roll over to one side. And you can make your way up into a comfortable seated position. And just an idea for those of you who'd like to be a bit creative during the next few days, you might like to do some drawing of your butterfly, the butterfly that came to you tonight. Perhaps there were different ones. Let's draw your butterfly as a little reminder to yourself to keep working with that idea of lightness and connecting with the inner child that likes to play. So let's close our practice with one Om. If you'd like to join with me, bring the hands together at the heart. Exhale all breath. And then breathing in. Oh. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining with me tonight. Have a lovely rest of the evening and I look forward to seeing you again soon. If anyone would like to say anything, feel free to unmute yourself. Otherwise, lots of love.
I love that class tonight, Fiona. It was good being a child. It was really good.
Good, Kathy, good.
Thanks.
Right.
Stamping of the foot was fun too.
Good, Helen. Good, good, good. I had fun putting it together.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so good. Thank you so much.
Have fun playing, everyone. See ya. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.